Hey everybody, this is my video update on the incident that I was posting about last night with the Mountjoy Borough Police Department. Um, I haven't gotten to speak to what they call the officer in charge. There's not a acting police chief at this time. Um, they've had some budget issues. They had a few furloughs with some of their officers, so they don't really have an acting chief of police. There's a detective, Goody, who is assuming the duties of that office at this time. Um, but just to give everybody like a quick rundown of what transpired last evening, um, I decided to take a walk. My wife and kids um, were with family. They were away for a day, like a day and a half. They went to the band's Warped Tour up in Scranton, but I decided to go for a walk in the evening. I don't exactly know what time it was, but it was just after dark. Everywhere we go, I usually carry my handgun, an 11-round Taurus 45 ACP semi-automatic, um, on my hip, legally holstered. There's no, we don't touch it, don't take it out. We don't, you know, we're not obnoxious, but we open carry quite a bit. My wife has a 380 that she open carries on her hip. We don't have a license to carry firearms um, in the state of Pennsylvania, which is not required to open carry. Open carry, you don't need any kind of a permit to do that. Um, but anyway, I decided to take a walk, and I carried my long gun, my AR-15, on a sling on my back. And if you want a reference as to how I was carrying it, you can look on my Facebook, albums. You'll see a picture of me standing with my back to the camera with it on my back. That's exactly how I was carrying it. It was completely lawful and in compliance um, with regulations concerning open carry. Um, so I took a little walk around the neighborhood, the adjoining development. No incident. Nobody gave me any issues. Earlier in the day, I had open carried only my handgun to walk across town to the Giant on the other side of Mountjoy, and people stared bullets. I mean, they like their stares could cut through the lead. And I have no idea why, um, but I've never encountered that before. But that's a different subject. To stay on topic here with the incident in question, um, I walked around for maybe 10-15 minutes, um, returned back to my residence. The wife and kids had texted me they were on their way home, so I decided to wait on the porch for them to get back. So I just sat outside on the front porch waiting for them to come back. Maybe about 5 or 10 minutes after I had arrived home and just sat there waiting, um, the Mountjoy Borough police vehicle pulled into the drive, and was followed soon after by another Mountjoy Borough police unit and a Susquehanna Regional police unit. Um, the sergeant who got out of the first vehicle, which was an SUV, um, and instructed me to put my hands up, and I complied. I didn't think I was hostile or anything like that. He identified himself as Sergeant Bledsoe. Um, he's the supervisor of the for the night for the shift, but uh, he is. I just my response was, "Is there a problem, officer? What's the problem?" To which he replied, "What are you doing out here with those weapons?" I just, I respectfully replied, I'm just, I open carry, I just took a walk. It's for my personal protection, just exercising my right under the Second Amendment of the Constitution of the United States and Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, actually Article 1, Section 22, which is the right of the citizens to bear arms in defense of themselves and the state, shall not be questioned, which that even goes into further detail than the Second Amendment of the United States Constitution, which just simply states um, the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. This takes it a step further. It says the right of the citizens to bear arms in defense of themselves and the state shall not be questioned, which is a little more specific, a little more straightforward than shall not be infringed. Um, I also informed him that I do not, very politely informed him I do not consent to any searches or seizure of my property or myself, including IDs and serial numbers. And I asked him if I was being suspected of committing a crime, and if not, I would like to be free to go about my business. This agitated him very much, and he said he proceeded to uh, inaccurately tell me that I was required to show him my ID because they had received numerous calls that of a man with a gun, and that if they receive calls and people are alarmed, that I can be charged with a felony of the second degree, um, which is absolutely absurd and absolutely untrue. You can do the research, you can Google it, you can look it up. It's simply not so. Um, the people being unfamiliar or uneasy with the idea or the sight of somebody open carrying does not negate my right to do so. Um, and Public uneasiness or insecurity does not constitute probable cause. The laws in Pennsylvania concerning open carry state clearly that an officer may not detain an individual expressly um, or only for the act of open carry. The only way they can do that is if there's probable cause that the person is committing a crime. Otherwise, if there is not probable cause, they are only allowed a brief um, interaction, and by the law, as soon as I stated that I did not consent to any searches or seizures, including ID, serial numbers, and if I'm not being charged or suspected of a crime, I would like to be free to go about my business. The interaction should have ended right there, and the officer should have said, "Have a good night," and that should have been it. They should have left the scene, and there should have been no further forced interaction. However, the officer that was with Sergeant Bledsoe became very combative and very aggressive, and he looked over at the sergeant and very obnoxiously said, "You know what he's trying to do? I know what he's doing. He's trying to bait you into arresting him, so you can get us and sue the department for false arrest." Which I really did not appreciate that coming from somebody who's a uniformed public servant, who's on my dime. Uh, my tax dollars are paying for this guy to walk around with a badge and a gun and think he's more important than you and I. Um, and I think that it's not unreasonable to expect that he conduct himself in a professional manner. And I have here the Mountjoy Borough Police mission statement in connection with that. The Mountjoy Borough Police Department takes pride in its role as a citizen in the community. We derive authority from those we serve and protect, and shall be judged for our efforts in accomplishing this mission. We shall provide precise enforcement of the law and deliver humanitarian services which promote a safe community. We shall provide leadership to promote individual responsibility and a commitment to improving the community's quality of life through crime control and public safety while serving all people with fairness and respect. RESPECT, folks. I didn't receive much of it last night. Um, I once again politely stated that I did not consent to any searches or seizures, and that I would like to be free to go because I was not committing any crimes. His response then was more belligerent and obnoxious behavior. So I requested if I could uh, place my rifle on the ground, um, which I did very slowly, very safely, very respectfully, if the muzzle faced in a safe direction. They also asked me to unholster and place my handgun down as well, which I politely declined for the simple fact that I did not want any action unholstering my weapon to be misconstrued as hostile or otherwise threatening to the officer's safety, um, and have an unfortunate incident based on misconceptions and wrongful assumptions. So I requested that one of the officers please unholster it and place it with the understanding that it was not a surrender, it was not a consent to a seizure or search, but with the express intent of placing it on the ground next to the rifle, which was fine, that was complied with, that was all good. I respected that and I appreciated that. And that action by me seemed to gain a little bit of respect from the sergeant, because I was just trying to be respectful. Um, I mean, even though I still was not consenting to the further proceedings of the stop. Um, I would like to recite for you Article 1, Section 8 of the Commonwealth, the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. It says, the people shall be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and possessions from unreasonable searches and seizures, and no warrant to search any place or seize any person or things shall issue without describing them as nearly as may be, nor without probable cause supported by an oath or affirmation subscribed by the affiant. That was the first right that they violated. Um, I really, to be honest with you, I don't understand why this interaction did not end when I stated that I did not consent and that I would like to be free to be on my way. But they chose to continue in an aggressive, intimidating, and threatening manner. 3 officers were there. They detained me for about 45 or 50 minutes, um, and they threatened to arrest me and take me in and book me if I did not provide my ID, and that they would forcefully get the information by printing me and running me through the system. I felt that this was bullying and harassment, and apparently it is from legal advice that I've received since the incident happened last night. United States Code Title 18, Crimes and Criminal Procedure, Part 1, Crimes, Chapter 13, Civil Rights. Conspiracy against rights if 2 or more persons conspire to injure, oppress, threaten, or intimidate any inhabitant of the state, territory, or district in the free exercise or enjoyment of any right or privilege secured to him by the Constitution or the laws of the United States, or because of his having so exercised the same, or if 2 or more persons go in disguise on the highway or on the premises of another with intent to prevent or hinder his free exercise or enjoyment of any right or privilege so secured. They shall be fined not more than $10,000 or imprisoned not more than 10 years, or both, and if death results, they may be subject to imprisonment for any term of years or for life. 242.1983, deprivation of rights under color of law, whoever under color of any law, statute, ordinance, regulation, or custom willfully subjects any inhabitant of any state, territory, or district to the deprivation of any rights, privileges, or immunities secured or protected by the Constitution or laws of the United States, or to different punishments, pains, or penalties on account of such inhabitant being an alien by reason of his color or race, than are prescribed for the punishment of citizens, shall be fined not more than $1,000 or imprisoned not more than 1 year or both. And if bodily injury results, shall be fined under this title or imprisonment not more than 10 years or both. And if death results, shall be subject to imprisonment for any term, years, or for life. At the one, I'm almost out of time, but at one point, the officer did place his hand on his taser and put it in a ready position to pull it, and further demand, under duress, which I clearly stated at this point that I relinquish my ID. At that point, there were no witnesses and that could testify on my behalf. So I, under duress, surrendered my ID. Now, as soon as my family arrived home, mysteriously, the attitude changed and the mood changed, and suddenly there was no further need for them to wait for county records to get back to them with any information that they might secure from the unlawful search and seizure of my identification and my personal effects. And they, at that point, bid me good night and departed. Um, I will keep you updated because this is pending. This is pending a lawsuit. I do have an attorney who um, is going to get back to me about my options, my legal options in this situation. I will not stop open carrying, whether it's a handgun or my long gun, because I am operating within the confines of the law. I will not surrender my family's right to be secure and safe, um, and I will not surrender my constitutional right that people like my grandfather and my uncle and many of your relatives fought for, some died for, to protect throughout history. Um, I had posted a few days ago that the blood that was shed will not be watered down by tyranny or tyrants. Their sacrifice will not be cheapened. My family's sacrifice will not be cheapened. Um, I suggest that if any of you have any butt hurt over open carry laws, that you educate yourself. Get yourself some learning on the subject because it's people like you uh, who make life difficult for the rest of us, and you should be ashamed of yourselves as citizens, and you should hang your head in shame because you are disgracing everything that was fought for, everything that blood was spilled for throughout history by our brave men and women in the armed forces of the United States. You are disgracing that sacrifice. You are tarnishing and disgracing every creed. You are disgracing the oath that every troop takes to defend you, to defend your right to be a complete freaking moron if you choose. So I'm going to leave you at that. I'm at 18 minutes. I don't know if this is going to be able to go to YouTube. It's so long, but I'll try to condense it and do so. So I will update everybody when my attorney contacts me further and advises me on what my legal options are concerning the matter. Have a good day.